Liberians, stand up. This is our land, our future, our time. One people, one nation. Let's go. One Liberia, we stand as one. From the rising moon to the morning sun. No division, no more pain. Together we rise, we build again. One love, one peace, hear the call. If one man fall, then we all fall. Hand in hand, we take our stand for Mama Liberia, our land. Liberian stand up, this our home. No more waiting, we must own. The future calling loud and clear. Fix our country, start right here. This glorious land of liberty belongs to you, belongs to me. We won't surrender, we won't break. For Liberia's sake, we awake in joy and gladness, hearts aligned. No tribe, no hate, just one mind. We shout for freedom, proud and loud. Lift Liberia, make her proud. One Liberia, we stand as one. From the rising moon to the morning sun. No division, no more pain. Together we rise, we build again. One love, one peace, hear the call. If one man fall, then we all fall. Hand in hand, we take our stand for Mama Liberia, our land. From Lofa Hills to Maryland shore, we are one forevermore. All tribes united, county strong. Different voices, one same song. No selling votes, no cheap reward. We choose the truth, we choose the Lord. A better future we demand. With clean hearts we take a stand. We are our brother's keeper. Stronger when we stand together. No more fighting, no more fear. Peace and love will lead us there. Long live Liberia, hear the cry. We lift her name forever high. One Liberia, we stand as one. Shining brighter than the sun. Side by side, we'll never fall. United, we conquer all. One love, one peace. This our plea. Build the land for all to see. Hand in hand, we take our stand. God bless Liberia, our land.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good, General.
Okay, Edward, how are you this morning? You can hear me loud and clear?
Crystal clear, crystal clear. I hope you are hearing me also.
Guys, this is another beautiful day. This is Wednesday.
Yeah.
For those of you who are listening to us by way of Facebook, share the video, YouTube, TGN TV, or on the KCN TV. And let's share the video. And on Kia Radio FM 95.9. This is another beautiful day. I know it is wet in Liberia.
Seriously.
And it's bright here this morning. The time is 6:35. And so let us go directly into the show. We'll be expecting our guest, and I'm waiting for my co-host, Julius Lofa. Julius will be joining us today. Good morning, Liberia. Welcome to another powerful edition of Independent Minds for a Better Liberia. Hold on one minute, guys. Oh, God. Hold on. John, go ahead. Take it from there.
So yes, good morning, Liberia. Good morning to our peace-loving people in Sano County on TTD Radio and also Top FM in Grand Gila County for our broadcast. I want to say thank you for joining us. Kind of work in the city right now. I mean, it's a really season, and we start hearing complaints about fraud all around the place. But they're entering people's houses all around the place now. Or it's something that we'll get used to. Good morning to everybody, man. Happy to be here again. We look forward to another inspiring show again today. And trust me, man, our audience, your participation is our major concern. We really value your participation. We think we just want you to be respectful, and and just respect everybody's view. Everybody had a view, People don't think the way you think, but just respect everybody's view and disagree, respect, And yeah, we'll move on.
Okay, thank you very much. Just received a call from Liberia as usual. People will call because they hear you. I'm your host, Monel Queen Kishen Jr., aka the General. My fellow Liberians, today we ask ourselves simple but most important question. Are we satisfied with where our country is today? For decades, we have listened to promises, we have heard speeches, we have heard and watched politicians come and go. We may ask all the questions. We must ask all the questions. Liberians are still struggling for jobs, quality education, healthcare, electricity, clean drinking water, and opportunities for our children. An independent mind does not follow blindly. An independent mind may ask questions. An independent mind may demand accountability. An independent mind puts country before party and future before politics. As 2029 approaches, we must begin to think seriously about Liberia, what to leave for our next generation. Will we continue the same politics and have kept us divided for so long, undeveloped, or we will choose leadership based on competence, integrity, vision, and results? Today, we challenge every citizen to think beyond tribe, county, religion, and political party. Think Liberia. Think about your children. Think about the future. The power to change Liberia is not in the hands of politicians alone. It is in the hands of every voters. The future of our nation will determine by the decision we make today. So stay with us as we discuss the issues that matter, ask the tough questions, and search for solutions that can move Liberia forward. This is the Independent Minds for Better Liberia, where we challenge ideas, not people, where we ask truth, not propaganda, where we believe that today we can build a strong or stronger Liberia, but and more prosperous Liberia. Let the conversation begin. This is the Independent Minds again. As I said, we are not independent individuals. We have our own thinking. So I don't want you to think and say independent minds, I mean everyone here is independent. No, we are not. So ladies and gentlemen, let us have a nice conversation. Let us not just speak because we want to. Let us not just use words because we think we are educated, or maybe you are, but I want you to just think about Liberia. We know the past. We know the past politicians. When we were coming up, we say, oh, the Back of Mafia, the Amos Sawyer, the Tuan Red, all these people, oh, they fooled us, they did this. But now we are in charge. The age of Darius Dillon, myself, and other people, we were the one at the time complaining. But they are in charge. We are in charge. Look at what we are doing today. We are worse than the past. When will Liberia move forward? When will we get out of that cycle to say, yes, enough is enough. Our neighbors are going, our other countries, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Burkina Faso, they are moving ahead while we are still struggling to get out of a cycle that we don't know how we got in there. Why it should be us? Why people who suppress us, we compensating them? Why? People who brought destruction to Liberia, we giving them the opportunity, then even our own children. Why are we praise-seeking politicians who continue to lie to us, giving us all the promises, and we look at other qualified Liberians and we pushing them aside? Why? Ask yourself the question. Is this the country you want to leave for your children? Is this what we settle for? No, Liberians. We are better than that. We are nice people. Liberia was once the country that everybody want to go to. We have leaders in that country, but what we lack is honesty, integrity, and empathy. Because an honest man will not steal. An honest man will not undermine. An honest man will love his people. We are not perfect. And with integrity, you will always think about yourself, your family, what name you're going to leave behind. And empathy, you will always remember how it feels for a father that cannot feed his children, or mother who is struggling and still cannot make it, or men are in a wheelchair. Liberia is the only country when you visit Liberia, you will never find a parking lot for a handicap or special need person. You will never see them in a wheelchair going in the Abidjan supermarket because there is no way for them to even go in there with the wheelchair. What kind of country we separate? We separate ourselves from other people. Handicaps are not beggars. They are just special people, different. God made it in a special way. When they went to school, they can be a receptionist, they can be a manager, they can be anything that we ourselves are. They can drive. Why other countries can do it and our country cannot do it? We're not different. The other countries are doing it, they're not smarter than us. Our leaders choose to only worry about their pockets. Today they are millionaires and you know them. Some of them came and they were honest. They said, I got only $3 in my account. Today, if you check, they got over $3 billion in their account. We see some of them who stole from us today and pretending as if they are the one have the solution. And we're looking at people who work hard, people who earn the money honestly, who never did nothing to us. But we are here blaming them. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to waste no time today. So I'm not going to eat it up. I want to welcome Edward. I want to welcome Lofa and George. Welcome to the show. Let us have this conversation. We'll be having a guest here today. We'll hear from Julius if the guest will be on. How are you? Just good morning, Julius. Julius, are you there? You muted. Okay, until Julius can come on. And Edward, how are you today? How was your trip and coming? How was the traffic? How was the traffic from your area? Because you got to go through.
Yeah. Really, you know, I live around the I live around the borough, you know, the really city.
You came through Congotan area there.
Yeah, sure. Pass through the Congotan, they ran the Boulevard way and pass through Capital Papa. Yeah.
Okay, so how was the traffic?
It was not that tough as compared to yesterday. Because yesterday I woke up early, so I mean, about today at least it was much better. And we give all the glory. We know the really season is around now.
Yes. We can challenge it. That's nature. Yes. For me, I don't look at the weather. I'll be honest with you. I never look at weather. I get up in the morning when the sun is okay, fine. If it's rain, then I try to protect myself. So, guys, we were on the show yesterday, and there are a lot of things going on. What is trending in Monrovia? Who went to court yesterday? They said, who went to court yesterday again? They said, Fina went to court yesterday.
Yeah, that's how we're hearing. He said she went to court yesterday, and also we also went for the suspension. I want Peter King. I think he is the head of the cargo stop at the airport there. He was suspended, and I think so far that's a training. You know, the trust situation is still training here. I mean, in the laboratory is about 1 week. It go cold. No, they want like we feel go cold. You really going hard every day. Increase the tempo is increasing. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, we cannot make it. We cannot slow it down, and everyone. We cannot slow it down. It's a sad thing in our country. You know, if Liberia, the government, were benefiting. I'm just trying to be hypothetical. If they were benefiting from the drugs and they say, oh, Liberia using their country, the government using Liberia to transport drugs, and the government is benefiting, oh, the money went to schools, oh, the money went to this place. Then we say, oh, well, but individuals are enjoying. But Peter King is suspended. Who brought the drugs? That is the question. Who is the person behind the drugs? It's not the one who facilitating the transportation, because he's just a third, fourth, fifth man. You see how our country going? How can the president suspend someone just because he handles something. Now, Peter King is saying that he would not go down. Peter King is saying, if the government of Liberia want to arrest Peter King, they can do it in a blink of an eye. They can call, because America is serious about drugs.
Yeah.
All the government can do is to just call Peter King, call the government of America, and they will go arrest Peter King. But we sitting there and pretending, oh, Peter King. No, Peter King is not the only guy. And all the information, look, when the government try to hide, people will start thinking out of the box.
Yeah.
Edward, some people are saying that the main drugs left the country already. That one was just a charade to confuse the people. And some people are saying that the drugs, now some of them are cassava dust. You see what is going on? We can't hear from the police director anymore. We heard him the other day when things happening. Other people went to jail. Musa Belete's son is in jail.
Yeah, sure.
What this government is doing? What you think the UP government? Look, you voted for this government. You did everything, and still, I will say it, you owe no apology for who you want to vote for. You see, there's a parable. They say you can take the cow to the river, but you can't force the cow to drink.
Yeah.
No decision is right until it is right. Everybody can sit here and say, I'm going to town, or I'm taking this road. You don't know what's going to happen. If you go through, yes, that means your decision was right to take single. If you pass Ghana's-Ville, they will say, but why? If something happened to you, they say, but why you pass to single? If something happened, they say, but why you pass Ghana's-Ville? So no decision that we make in our life is correct until it is correct. You see, so if we all know that things will be right, trust me, there will be no mistakes. Because if I know that John Brown cannot win this election, I'm not going to put money in. I'm not going to talk. But so that will make life is beautiful. So let me hear from you, Joe. These drugs, you voted for this party.
Yeah.
Today, people see you talking. So let's hear from you.
I was one of our major campaign tools, the just situation. We all know that it's really rampant in Liberia. When you come in Liberia and you walk on the street of Monrovia, it's so-called. More request. I think the disadvantage use. The popular name for them is so-called. They are more popular here, and it was a major campaign too. You remember when President Bwaka appointed Ibrahim Kurman to serve as the director? There was a guy that was original Japan. I think everybody remember that guy was arrested, and he was incarcerated, and everybody was like, okay. But for that time, there have been no serious breakthrough though. I mean, we also seeing something around the corner and thing, but it's still the same. I mean, nothing has changed. So it's like a competition now. Now, if you're talking with anybody, you the party now, and you the party and see having a conversation, they say at least our owner now that 19 million worth of trust, your own 100 million worth of trust. But the million dollar question is that it is not about competition about how many worth of trust you bring in the country. The initial concern was to get rid of trust. I know you may not get rid of your 100%, but to minimize it in a way that it will not be like it was, and that was our major campaign tools. Some of the major campaigns message was to the rule of love and so on. But you know, and that's why I can't wait to see Mr. Dr. Moluba here to really ask him some questions, because the rule of love that we campaign for have been pushed before our very eyes, and nobody making any comment about it. For example, right, the tenure position have been violated, with no remorse, and nobody making any statement about it. It's just like a normal thing. Edmund Glasgow, you may love her or hate her. I mean, she's my favorite from the CDC administration. In fact, she brought the NAFA alive, the fishery sector, she brought it alive. And the only reason why she was removed is that she campaigned. She wore campaign t-shirt and wore party t-shirt during the campaign. But guess what? The CSA board was at the launch on Nemo. I mean, that's why it's not a violation of the code of conduct now. It's not a violation of it. The central bank governor Alosha Talu was removed based on quote-unquote corruption. Okay? Why is it not the case? At the end of the day, we allegedly they said that there was a money play on him and so on. And who is our central bank right now? Henry Samoa from Lofa County. At the LTA, all the commissioners out there were suspended based on corruption. Nobody know the outcome of the case today. The only thing we could see is Patrick Honda, Clarence Massaquoi, Ben Fufana. all UP people now have been occupied that space, and they were serving. I think a little on they have been appointed for now as a real commission of the or 10 new position. So no, the thing about the corruption fraud that we're talking about, like Fina is in court. For me, Fina going to court is not a big news for me. It's not a big news. We all parade around with number 12. Number 12 is corrupt, and so at the end of the case ended in that kind of way. We didn't really know the hear and say. We hearing that the away all those stuff and things, and it's okay. So it's not about I say recovery team coming out with people need, but it's about going through the case and found someone guilty, and not just going after the past administration. There's corruption going on in the current administration. And there are only reports, multiple only reports. I point to some of the corrupt allegations have been ongoing. But what happened, the investigation, what happened, the conclusion of those cases? Nothing. The only thing we can hear about is as a recovery team, case release of or arrest or blah 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 from the past administration. And the current administration, I mean, nothing happening. Samuel Wosi, one Wosi from the RRC. There was an allegation against him about corruption. No he and tay. He was suspended, and all the later, nothing happening. The only thing we hear about now is Ko Bangalore there now at RRC. Another Lufian anyway. It's not a matter of the country, but when you qualify for a position, you get taken. But it's just sickening, And you don't expect a rational man like me that have my hair balanced on my shoulder to continue to defend those kind of things, joining intellectual bureau to be calling and be defending. So yeah, nothing has really changed, to be frank. Nothing has really changed. I think it's like
let's go to Julius. We'll take our time. And how are you this morning, Julius?
I'm doing pretty good, Manette, and
Yes.
George, of course, to my brother Joe in studio.
Yes.
Good morning to our listening audience in Liberia, and those of you that are following us via the social media. I see quite a few of you here: Alfred Bleedy, Franklin K. Wisse. Hopefully, you join us one of the days on the show, Mr. Wisse, and of course, Madeline Mayonga. Those of you that are following us from behind, we want to encourage you to be a part of the platform. Do due diligence, share the show, and be a part of the conversation. Great topic. I don't know if we've heard from our guest, Dr. Moneyba. If he's
No, not yet. But we're not saying it.
okay.
And
We'll continue with the discussion.
And look for this drugs issue.
Mhm.
There's a saying in Liberia. Oh, don't worry, man. In 1 week, they will let it go.
Mhm.
It's almost like in the United States where people kill until they kill Floyd. What is his name again? And then the whole
Floyd,
country
yeah.
went, yes, because they've been killing more people. They've been killing people better than Floyd. But this one is 19 million. We agree.
Mhm.
But the information are coming out. They suspended Peter King. Some people say the drugs now is turning into cassava dust. Some people say it was a front. The main drugs left the country already. And just to confuse us, we can hear from the police director, the justice minister, everybody just to a point now is hanging on their neck. UP is responsible for these drugs. They should tell us what is going on. What are your thoughts on this?
So, Manette, let me start off by reminding you, all right, don't forget what Mr. Alexander Cummings said recently that triggered the entire government to resort to insults.
Nothing
Nothing has changed.
has changed.
The question that we should be asking ourselves today is, considering both political parties that we're dealing with, did we expect anything to change? As for me personally, Manette, no. And that's the reason why we spoke against the possibility of, President Boyka coming to power. The issue of this drugs is not fought based on just symbolic act. You must be sincere to fight drugs. If you sincerely want to cut down the usage of drugs in the country. If you notice, every time our government officials are opportune to speak on the issue of drugs, they are not sincerely telling the people, okay, what is happening. They're not doing that. They're not being honest to the people. And at the end of the day, these people are not the victims. We are the victim. Those of us who are not in government, the poor people, the ones that are walking in the streets down Raleigh Town, the younger boys, the ones who are frustrated because they don't have access to classroom, so they end up having to go and sit on the sidewalk. They end up being the victims of these drugs because they end up using it, suffering from there are the impacted few. And that's why we are here. That's why you're saying this. I didn't expect anything to happen. I don't expect anything to happen. Now, had this been the case of, someone who is not known in the case, let's use this young man, this musician as an example, Bucky Raw.
Yeah.
All right. When Bucky had his deal with the LDA, you saw how he was paraded.
On camera.
They had camera in his house. They had camera in this young man's house. They had him arrested on camera, paraded in the street, and he was taken to jail. I believe he was incarcerated for a couple of days or so.
Of course, yeah.
Now, let's talk about the current $19 million worth of drugs that all we hear about is the same symbiotic pretense that often is heard or is seen among us. We're hearing about suspension. Okay, we heard suspension before. How many people haven't been suspended? Is that the end of it? How does the suspension benefit? How does the suspension benefit Mount Josephine, whose children could possibly end up as victims of it? How does the suspension benefit Mount Bendu? How does the suspension benefit Mount Lusuya, who have to go in the market to go fend for food for she and her family? How does that benefit them? You know how it benefits them? Don't end up with suspension. End up with some level of prosecution. Have people prosecuted for that. Let people know that drugs is a no-no for Liberia. But that's not going to happen, Manette. And I expect that this thing to happen. That's part of the reason why I told you this. And I will make it much more of a song. The reason why people in government and people out of government who are politicians would throw the dirty water, they'll throw the sink at Mr. Cummings. They will attack him in any way, shape, or form is to prevent his ascendancy to the presidency because they understand his approach will be different. His approach will not be the same like President Joseph Boakai. His approach will not be the same like President George Weah. His approach would be different because his eyes will be on that specific agenda item, and that is job creation, a quality education, quality health care. Okay, but the focus point is bringing up the next workforce. That is, we must develop them, and in order to develop the next workforce, we must make sure that they're upright, competent, prepared, ready to take on the responsibility, not to provide more drugs to them. And that's part of the reason why Mr. Cummings become the target for every corrupt politician who see his or her way, no way out. I'll let you come in on Joe.
Yeah, Joe, give us something on that.
So the major concern, the major job for the Liberia is that you go on the street, the poor ordinary poor citizen or the poor youth that just get the cooking or the marijuana and whatever and smoke it. These are the people they're going after. Now the youth are now, it's the youth that they're going after. Now the person that is importing drugs into the country, you can't get after them. But you go after the user, you grab them, you carry them, you lock them up for some time. There is no rehabilitation center that we're talking about rehabilitating the youth. Now it's not about taking the youth on the street. It's about rehabilitating them, imparting knowledge into them. That when you release them in the society, there will be a great impact. There will be a great impact in the society. But what we see in the place is just arrest, so-called beat on them and damage that get them, break those places down. The minute go and regroup to another place, they build another ghetto, you go, you break it down. It's not solving nothing. It's not adding out. It's not changing anything. So what we expected for the government to do now, which we all campaign about the drugs issue and our youth is our major concern and so on, is to have a big rehabilitation center that most of those drugs alley will be there. They will be trained in different skills, in vocational skills and so on. That if you release them tomorrow, they will make a great impact. They will fend for themselves. But it's not happening, Chief. Nothing, you just grab a garden and beat on them and carry them to the cell and lock them up for 50, you put them out. If you're into go tomorrow, they go in different community, organize, I get to there, you go there, you beat on them. So that's why ongoing. So there's no clear strategy, no clear road plan, nothing at the country. Therefore, the drug issue have to minimize the drugs, how to rehabilitate you, how to change them, how to really make them to look good in the society. Nothing. So yeah,
And another thing, let's go to this. We all know the drugs issue. The government need to play a major role. Our community leaders, our pastors, and everyone got to play a major role. But when it comes to the ghettos, they our children, they're in the communities. We supposed to fight. Government need to work with community leaders, pastors to do it. Then government run after the big people to stop it. You can't have a big tree in your yard. You say, I'm afraid that they tree will fall my house. But you cut the tree and leave the roots. The tree gonna grow.
Sure.
You got the children sleeping at Bradington Market. You got them sleeping to Waterside Market. But you say we calling them to go to school. After school or after that rehabilitation, where are they going? They don't even have a place.
Money,
Some
I
of them
think,
lost their
I think
parents.
we'll have our guest. Our guest is at the station. Can George or someone check for them?
Okay, George, please check out there for Dr. Moniba. So you see, but ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a nice show today. We'll be having Dr. Moniba in the studio, and one of our political leaders from Liberia who will ask the questions that Liberia want to hear. This is not a place where we're just going to attack, but this is a place where we ask the tough questions, and we want you to call when we open the lines, and we should be respectful, and everyone will be respectful. This is the independent minds for a better Liberia. When independent minds come together, greater things take place. So please let us be respectful to one another. We're not here to bash at anyone. So this is the independent minds. So ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to waste no time. We're not waste no time because we want to have more time to speak to our guests. If you listen to us by radio, keep your phone open. If you listen to us by Facebook, we want you to share the video. YouTube, we ourselves sharing it. We need your help, and you need us. We need each other. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to waste no time. We're just going to welcome our guest, Dr. Moniba, to the show. Good morning, Doc. I don't know what's going on there.
I think they're still making the guest.
Oh, okay. I thought he's already there. I'm sorry. Okay, good. So, Julius, take it from there, and we'll go around the room with the first two questions, and then we'll continue the conversation.
Yeah, once he, I think he's still being ushered in. So once he gets in the studio, I think he's just walking in now. So,
all right,
we will get started with that.
Yeah, I see Joe Edwards sitting by the guest.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous, Joe. You say right next to you stay next to the political leader. That's a little bit. That's a little kind of jealous side for me, but
I'm telling you, man, Joe, you're not a small man. Joe is sitting right in here.
Leader.
yeah. So Joe, we're not going to waste no time. And if his mic is set up, and let us know, Joe, if his mic is set up and he can hear us. You can hear us, Joe.
I think you know.
How are you?
Oh yes, well done.
Hi, everything okay?
Okay.
No, definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Okay. So we want to welcome Dr. Moniba for the first time at the Kia Radio, and this is the independent minds for better Liberia. We are not independent individual, but we have our independent minds. And welcome to the Independent Minds for Better Liberia, Dr. Moniba. How are you this morning?
No, thank you very much for having me and for hosting me. Looking forward to the discussion today. I'm always glad when people are talking in a positive manner and in a positive sense, how we can all get our country better. So again, thank you so much for hosting me.
Okay, Julius was the one who send the invitation out, and I want to say thank you, Julius. I want you to take it from there, Julius.
Well, Dr. Moniba, welcome to the Independent Minds. Great to have you on here. How are you doing?
No, I'm good, and I'm happy to see the place. Obviously it's my first time here, but I'm happy to see this place. Very professionally run, and I'm excited. So life is good, all is good.
Great. Before we even get into it, let me extend congratulations to you. I heard the good news. So congratulations to you, my brother.
Thank you so much.
We're waiting for the invitation. The wedding invitation will dance.
We'll make sure you're there. There's no way I would about you. So no. But honestly, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you. So, Manek said earlier, we don't have much time, so we would definitely get into the conversation. Um, Liberia politics today. You are still in. I mean, again, you are in a race, correct?
You know, what I've been telling people is that we are part of the process, right? We have to ensure that at the end of the day, Liberia is better tomorrow than what we have today. But with that being said, we are part of the process in terms of making sure, can there be a third wave that's created here in Liberia? Everybody always talks about the idea that UPCDC. But let's be honest, since 2005, it's been the two same political parties, yet people are still crying. So the idea is, how can we form a coalition of people who truly want the development of Liberia, who will have zero tolerance to corruption? And I always say that because as of today, there's nobody in jail in Liberia because of corruption. And so and I'm sure we'll be talking about this drug situation, but it's the same thing. This drug situation, within 1 or 2 weeks, nobody will be talking about it. We'll be on something else, and it will just die down like that. And so the thing in Liberia is that we need accountability. We need accountability for corruption. We need accountability for delivery of the people's work of service. A lot of times and often in this country, people think that when you get in government job, that to get rich. They forget that it's for service, is to serve. And so I'm saying all that roundabout to say, final decisions hasn't been made, but we are in the process. We are talking, I've spoken personally to almost every major political party leader in the last couple of weeks, just about, ways of collaboration, ways of moving forward. So, we are currently right now in that process.
So, just for the sake of our listening audience and those on radio land, again, as for me, I think it was kind of selfish on my part. I know who you are, what you do. I didn't ask you to introduce yourself to our people. So, let me give you the opportunity. Just tell the people a little bit about yourself, and then Manek and Joe will come in with their questions. So, just tell the people a little bit about yourself. Who's Dr. Clarence Moneyba? What you're doing, what you're into, and then Manek will come in with his line of questions.
Thank you for that. For me, every time people ask me that, I never know quite how much in detail to say, right? And honestly, it's sometimes and more often times it's the hardest question for me. And simply because, I always say I'm a proud Liberian. I'm the proud son of Dr. Harry Moneyba, who was the former vice president in Liberia here during the 80s. I'm a proud son of him and my mother, Minita Moneyba. I'm somebody who, I truly believe, education is a very important thing, especially when you want to take on leadership, especially when you want to talk about changing the country. So I've been blessed with academic scholarships. And the reason I say that, Lofa, is simply because when I tell people, I've had 2 masters and PhD and gone to Harvard, immediately they'll say, oh, but yeah, the manpower vice president. No. I went and every single scholarship, every single degree I've gotten, my 2 masters and PhD has been because of academic scholarships, thankfully in the United States. I've worked at the United Nations. I've worked at the Liberian Embassy in Washington, D.C. I've worked at the African Development Bank. I've worked at the World Bank. And then, of course, back in Liberia here, I returned to Liberia. I lived in America for 20 years, from 1991 to 2011. I returned to Liberia in 2011 and started working on ground in government. And I was able to work my way up. I was head of the Present Delivery Unit, where I'm so proud to say that I helped with a lot of the projects that we are still benefiting from in Liberia, starting from Mount Coffee Hydro, where I also served as a chairman of the Liberia Electricity Corporation when we finalized and negotiated the finances and the funding for Mount Coffee, as well as the implementation of it. I was chairman of LEC when that happened. I was also head of the Present Delivery Unit, where I oversaw a lot of projects in this country, including the Lofa Road that's being built right now that should have been completed in 2020. We are in 2026, going to 2027. It's still not completed. And so these are things, right? When we're talking, then people say, oh, well, you have to be frustrated if you are a Liberian. Once again, I will say it again, that Lofa Road broke ground in 2016, 2017. And again, I'm proud to say I was one of the people who helped to negotiate that deal. That road was a 3-year project that should have been completed in 2020, 2021 latest. We are in 2026, going to 2027. It's not completed. Another example is this road from ERWA to Red Light. the roundabout that was just completed a couple of years ago. That was a 2-year project that should have been completed also in 2018, 2019. Not completed until a couple of years ago. This overhead bridge, and they bypass road, that the bridge that everybody talking about that's going on right now at 540. Just think about it. We went to China at head of the present delivery unit, and we negotiated the funding for that, the design of that. And yet we are in 2026 and it's just getting started. So this is what when people start talking about the frustration that the Liberian people have. And that's why a lot of people think, oh, by the time you want to be a politician, you just want to go steal, you don't want to deliver. So anyway, I bring that up just to show people some of the work I've been able to do in this country. I also help to oversee the red light to Banga to Ganta highway have been done, the White Plains Water Facility plant. I'm just bringing these things up so people can understand. A lot of times in Liberia, and I always say it, to get popular in this country, normally it's 2 reasons: steal plenty money, right? Or go on radio and cost plenty, do Marcos, Parcos, then everybody in the country will know you. I'm saying that because sometimes when I talk to people, they say, oh, but you just come in. No, I've been in this country, I've been contributing to this country, but because I haven't gotten in corruption, because I don't get on the radio and start causing Marcos, Parcos, right? Don't go out and start throwing money around because I don't have the money to throw around. And people will say, oh, the man just coming. No, I've been in this country. I've been contributing. Again, I was the youngest cabinet minister under Ellen Sirleaf's government as Minister of State with our portfolio. Like I said, chairman of LEC when we completed the negotiations in the development of Mount Coffee Hydro, and then head of the presidential unit where even the White Plains Water Facility plan, I oversaw the implementation of that. So we've been here, we've been working, but the problem is that's not enough. Because nobody in Liberia can look around anywhere and say, oh, yes, we have a good country. I'll continue to say, and I will say it today, Lofa, the Liberia we are living in is not good enough for anybody. Let's take politics out of it. Let's take out this political party. Let's take out this person. You loyal to this person. Let's take that one out. Just understand and know that the Liberia we are living in right now is not good enough for anybody. And I say this because I've also been blessed. I've been to almost 50 countries in my life. And when you start to understand that Liberia is way behind the other countries that are way behind, I don't even think that Liberian people understand how behind we are. So that's why when somebody start building small road, we get so excited. That's why when there's small development or some political leader come and drop small money, then everybody start dancing around the person. Oh, our leader. No, we are failing. We are crumbling. And so the problem is the standards in this country are too low. So anyway, sorry, Lofa, because you told me to introduce myself. But no, it's just, so anyway, I just wanted to get that off. But I'm a proud Liberian. I want to see a better Liberia. And like I said, I've worked all over the world. I've worked for some of the major institutions around the world with character, and I'm so proud of it, right? The most important thing, my pa will always say, I won't leave you money, but I will leave you a name you can be proud of. And so that's how I've always lived my life, as I've become educated, as I've started to work, like I said, at United Nations, at the World Bank, at the African Development Bank, youngest minister in Ellen's government, youngest chairman of LEC in Liberia's history, doing all these things to make sure that we can have a better tomorrow than what we have today.
Thank you, Monet.
Yeah, and Doc, thanks for coming. You speaking, and you remind me of your father, Dr. Moniba was just a quiet guy. I used to admire him a lot. But in the country we live in today, it is a shame. And you are a professional. You have served at 10,000 hours. So you can earn any job. You can go in. But yes, you are not all over the place yelling. I have no record that you are a corrupt individual. But when listening to you, the time you serve, all these different positions, Liberians are surprised. Say, wow. But you are not there yelling. But the people that cost money, the people that steal today are the people that will yell it. Oh, yes, they will see us with dancing. But we ask you a simple question. Sometimes a simple question is a little harder. Now you still want to contest for the presidency because once you try it and because you love your country, it is your right to do whatever you do. But some people will ask and say, well, why Dr. Monimba? Why are you not running for representative from Lofa County, one of the district, or senator? Or why you go as vice president? Why you jump all the way to the presidency? Why are you want to run for president? Why you try the representative or senator or go to someone and say, listen, I want to be a running mate? Why?
Right. And honestly, I love that question. And because I can answer that in so many different ways. The first thing, right, let's start from the idea of let's look at it like this. And I always say in life, right, and this is advice to every Liberian that listening, in life, when you say you want to be president, people will kind of say, oh, go be senator. If I would have student and say I want to be senator, they would have said go be representative. If I would have said I wanted to be representative, they would have kind of said go be town chief. That's the first thing. Let anybody decide
Yeah.
how you want to help to develop your country and transform your country. That's the first thing. And the second thing, and most importantly, to be frank with you, I'm here, and you said it, and I love that idea about 10,000 hours. To be frank with you, I love, because I truly believe in that, and I was just telling my son that. But the idea of 10,000 hours, let's be honest, to develop and transform Liberia, the representative cannot do it, and lawmakers cannot transform Liberia. The issue in Liberia is not laws. The issue in Liberia is implementation and accountability, and it comes from the executive. That's why, right? I'm in this thing. You talked about, I will continue to say on this radio station, I've been blessed. I literally just got a job offer a few weeks ago that was paying me very, very good money, right? So the idea is I'm not in quote unquote politics in Liberia looking for money. I'm looking for transformation. And to change Liberia, it has to start from the top, which is the presidency. People will talk about, oh, that the lawmakers, they're eating all the money. Guess who writes the budget? It's the executive. The executive are the one who creates the budget. So the lawmakers are just there accepting. But if we had a president that stood up and said, because right now, if we look at that $1.2 billion budget, right, 80% of it is going to running a government. And let's admit it, running a failed government. Our government of Liberia is too big to succeed. How can you have a budget where $1.2 billion and 900 million goes to fuel slips, to salaries, to travel? You will never be able to develop a country like that. So that's why I always say, as president of Liberia, right, there's no way I would be in my right mind, in my right ethical mind, be able to pass a budget where I'm allowing $2,000 per month in fuel slips, where I'm allowing $500,000 to go to the speaker for entertainment, when there's not one single government school in Liberia that has indoor plumbing. How can you justify that as a leader? So these are the things when we say from presidency. The reason why I ran for presidency is because I hope that at some point Liberians will stop politics and start talking about policies. Because policies is what develops a country, not politics.
Yeah.
Liberia, we are too good about politics in this country. We are too good about politics. Oh, our leader, oh, Batio, all that stuff, that politics there. But we don't talk about policies. And when we come to the idea of policies, I'm so proud, and I'm not bragging, but nobody in Liberia, I don't think, can handle me on policies of transformation. Let's look at agriculture, right? The reason why I ran for president, the reason why I'm even on this radio station, the reason why I'm not out of this country, but in Liberia, struggling like everybody else, is simply because, let's look at agriculture. We live in a country where every day Liberian men say he has to eat rice, right? But at the end of the day, we get our rice from India. So how can we justify that? And then when you look at the budget that was created by our own government, we put $13 million in the budget. The supplementary budget come, we add another $2 million. $15 million for the country of Liberia for agriculture. Yet we put $15 million just for one ministry. How can we justify that? So those things, right, have to be changed from the presidential level. With that being said, I'm not opposed to collaboration with anybody, right? And I always tell people, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I must only be president. No. I could be vice president. I could be an advisor. I could be anything. But the idea is, these are the kinds of conversations we need to have. We need to start talking about how can Liberia be self-sufficient in our own staple food of rice, and not in 20 years, not in 30 years, but in 5 years. We should be talking about my presidential term. In the first 6 years, Liberia must not be importing any rice in this country. That's when you start to talk about development. Go to Ghana, go to Cote d'Ivoire. You will feel so bad for your own country. You will feel so bad for your own country. I know other people listening to me, yeah, the men can talk sweet, no problem. But at the end of the day, I will continue to say there are good Liberians in Liberia who want to see good for this country. And also there are competent Liberians. But the problem is we are more tribal in this country. We love our tribe more than we love our nation. Let's be honest. Like Lone Star will play football king, the field will be empty. Let Lofa play Nimba. Let Bong play Magibi. You will see the field will be overflowed and packed. We don't love our country. We love our tribe. We love our own interests. And so these are the reasons why I'm running for president, right? Or why I ran for president. It's simply because how can we bring common sense to development? How can we bring ethical leadership to development? How can we make sure that 70% of the budget goes to the Liberian people and not Liberian government officials? That's, some of the reasons why I ran for president. And these are the conversations I'm trying to have with political leaders around the country. And like I said, I've talked to several of them. But that's just advice. Honestly, anything you say you want to do, I'm sure when you're starting to start this radio station, you will make it. There's this radio station,
Yes.
nobody, right? So people,
That's true.
So I'm sure people are telling you to go open Kobo shop. Don't
And Doc,
anybody.
it's a good conversation. I asked this question because Liberians, we think different. I don't know. But it's not the ordinary Liberians. The people who bring up these questions are educated people, the corrupt ones. Because everyone tell Alex Cummings the same thing. Why you can't run for a representative in Maryland or go run for senator? Or why you refuse to go as VP when they even ask you? It is your right to run. It's in the right of everyone. Nobody vote for vice president. Nowhere in the world we vote for vice president. I think just from your explanation, you and Alex Cummings need to sit and talk. I know you're talking behind the scene because you see when you work out of the country, you bring these ideas home. You spend all your time. You say, listen, it is time to go home. Alex Cummings spend his time. It's time to go home. But the people are not looking at you guys because you're not sharing the money. You're not giving back of rights. You want to educate them. You want to change the system. And I always say it starts from the top. The executive writes the budget. The executive can even cut senators' money if they want to. But everybody got something in there. But your question, and I hope Liberians will listen to it, it is his right, and it is the right of every Liberian to run for president. Don't tell me where to go. The next thing is that true. If you even try to go as representative, I mean, start for the town chief position. And where should just start from? So we never satisfy. But I love the way you answer, and I hope other Liberians will listen. That every Liberian has the right.
Right, and please let me add this, right? Because I know you mentioned, I consider him a big brother. Me and him have a very good relationship. But I do want to say to the Liberian people, because, obviously I was the youngest person in the race at that time when I ran for president. But the funny thing is, out of the X amount of people who ran for president, I'm not even sure, 50 or 200 people, to be frank with you, only 2 people, right, I would say were more qualified than me. And, of course, I have to say that. And when I say
breaking news,
listen, you're independent mind. Listen, before you end,
politics.
no. Before you start, you said something on Spoon, and that trickled me.
But let him we'll get to that Spoon part.
He said, "I'm an independent mind. I'm an independent thinker." So that's why. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, I'm an independent. Yeah, because the reason that independent thing came up, because people after the first round, everybody said, okay, you from Lofa, you have to go endorse President Boycott. No, we're not running for president for Lofa business. We're running for president for business, right? And so because of that, it was like everybody assumed I was going to endorse one side or another. I spoke to both of them in length. My political party, Liberian National Union, we spoke to everybody. But at the end of the day, we campaigned on the idea that UPCDC 2005 people stay crying. UPCDC 2011 people stay crying. 2017 UPCDC. Then why in 2023, when Liberians are still crying, we're still going back to them? And so this is some of the reasons why I've been making that argument, right? So we decided not to endorse. So that's what prompted, I think, that independent mind thing. But at the end of the day, the reason why I was about to bring that up is simply because I always tell people, right? And I give President Weah more experience than me because he was actually president. I give President Boyka at that time, who was Vice President Boyka, more experience than me because he was Vice President for 12 years. But if you look at every other person who ran for the presidency, there's nobody Even though I was the youngest, there's nobody who had executive leadership, had international leadership, who was as educated. So there's nobody who could say they work for the World Bank, they work for United Nations, they work for African Development Bank, right? They worked at the Liberian Embassy in Washington D.C. There's no in the Liberian Trade and Investment Office. They were cabinet minister. They were head of the Liberia Electricity Corporation. They headed development projects in this country. Nobody else could say that, and so that's why I think when we talk about developing in this country, when we talk about what type of leaders we want to select, I pray to God, and this is one of the reasons why I'm involved in politics. I pray to God that again we start to look at character, competency, and not popularity, because popularity continues to get us in the situation we are in today. Oh yeah, that man can win. He's popular. Okay, fine, but can he govern?
Yeah.
Can he bring policies that can transform this country? And I'm sure we'll talk about this drug thing very shortly. But to be frank with you, 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about something different. 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about something different, and nobody will be in jail. Nobody will be held accountable. This thing is about to die down because this is the typical thing that happens in Liberia. So anyway.
Yeah, I'll give you my last question and turn it over to Joe. And this government, are you think this government is on the right track? All the promises that were made, they talk about the war crime court, they talking about how they're going to rescue us. And I know, yeah, the roads are going on, but the lives of the people, we see no job creation. We see the education system is failing. We see the agricultural system is messed up. You think the government is on the right track? You see anything that look like it will be better tomorrow?
The development of this government is on a pace where Liberia will get better, but not in the immediate future. I'm talking about 20, 30 years, the pace we are going, right? You talk about the War Crimes Court. And again, I like to be going back to, you talk about the War Crimes Court. The biggest news initially in 2024, we had two big news in 2024, War Crimes Court and I went to burn the Capitol at the end of the year, 2024.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all, please tell me what else really happened in 2024. War Crimes Court. Oh, War Crimes Court. Where are we? The person who was heading War Crimes Court said he didn't get no budget. So then are we serious about the War Crimes Court? My argument has always been we should drop war and just focus on economic crimes court, because that the economics and that the corruption in this country that is killing our country. Right?
Yes.
We always walk. We don't know who killed though. The person, like seriously, what do we have to investigate? We don't know who brought war to this country. There's no reason for war crimes court for war. We should be focusing on economic, because even today there's a corruption deal most likely happening in government. Last year there was a corruption deal. 2 years ago there was a corruption deal. So that's what we need to be fighting for, because that will do more for our future than any other thing. But even that war and economic crimes court, we're not serious about it, because let's go to the office. The person who was heading it said, I'm not getting any money. So again, Liberian people truly need to look at what is funded in the budget, because that tells you the seriousness of what the country wants to do, what that leadership wants. We're talking about drugs, right? Let's go to LDA. How much is in the budget for LDA right now? Less than $1 million. Are we really serious about fighting drugs in this country? You give less than $1 million for seriously, you give, I think it's 800,000, and please, y'all don't quote me. I'm sure some people can correct that. But you get $800,000 to LDA budget, right? Most of it will go to salaries. Then you give $500,000 to the speaker for entertainment. Are you serious? You buy $1 million vehicles, bulletproof vehicles, but you get less money to. Are you serious about drugs? So that's the same thing. Are we serious about war and economic crimes court? How much are we giving them? We are in 2026, going into 2027 now. What has been done? What indictments have come out? So these are the things. Liberian people, we like the flash, we like the muff, but we don't have the substance behind it. If you say we going back to this government, you talk about arrest. The first thing in arrest is agriculture. Once again, I already talked about it. Only $15 million of the resources is going to agriculture. How can we say we truly want to be self-sufficient in our staple food of rice if we only put $15 million towards agriculture? And then the excuse is, oh, well, our international partners are helping us. That's not the international partners' job to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves. So this is the frustration when I come on radio, when I start talking, and then people will say, oh, yeah, but all we have to at some point take the development of Liberia serious. I'm telling you, it hurts me when I go to Rwanda, see the people country. So these are the things, right? So is this government doing a good job? They're doing the typical thing, they're trying. But trying would not transform this country. And that's what people need to realize. There's so many people who listening to me right now who are strong supporters of this administration, which is fine. But you cannot tell me I'm not talking the truth. Because even if right now as I'm talking, right, there's some people who are probably cussing me in the heart. Oh yeah, who is that? What that biggie frisk? Fine. But have I lied yet? Are you not? What school are you sending your child in? Even if you're a police officer, right, and you're working for this government, you love this government so much, thank you, right? But how much are you getting paid? How much are you getting paid? We need to have a cap in this country. So this is when I start talking about transformation, this is what we hoped that President Boyka would be able to do. This is what we hoped that President Weah was going to be able to do. You have to be able to say, listen, nobody in this country is no longer making anything more than $6,000. You can't justify in a poor country like Liberia. You paying government officials, you paying people who are taking, from the national wealth. You're giving it $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, $14,000, and then you turn around, you pay the teacher in the village $70. What type of justification is that? Is that ethical leadership? No. You turn around, you pay the policeman, $100. Is that ethical leadership? Absolutely not. So these are the things, again, when we start talking about why we need transformational change in Liberia, y'all forget that political party thing. Oh, that my party, that my color. That party, that your color, got you sleeping in darkness. That's the same thing that got people walking, counting by line. So these are the things, right? Is this government doing, is this government trying? I'm not going to sit here and say this government is not doing anything. Then I would be a liar, right? There are some projects. Like I said, the overhead bridge that's being built, what I'm happy for is that they are finishing projects that should have been completed years ago. That Lofa Road, the Southeastern Road, the overhead bridge. Yeah, so these are things that we're seeing, but will the country truly transform? No, because the private sector is not being supported. Even when you talk about the list of jobs that President Boyka talked about, that he created 70,000 jobs, right? And then I think after that, they came back and said, no, it's actually 60-something thousand jobs. Look at the actual jobs that are being created. When you start talking about job creation, we should be talking about the private sector, but most of those jobs were in government. So that's not job creation. That's just taking money from government and creating temporary jobs to look good. When we start talking about job creation, we should be seeing 3,000 jobs were created in factories, 10,000 jobs was created in tourism, 50,000 jobs were created in agriculture. It shouldn't be 50,000 jobs were created, 30,000 was created by Ministry of Public Works. No, that's not job creation. Those are temporary jobs that will not sustain and develop this country.
Yeah, we'll go to Joe, and Liberians listen to what he's saying. We need to ask the tough question. You need to ask him, not to just jump behind him because he's spraying money all over the place. He's giving us ideas. So I would say this. Look, Alex Cummings, if you listen to me, you and Modiba, you need to continue the conversation. You and them. You need to continue the conversation.
I already know this. I already know you got on this. I already know you support me because I've been on this thing. I've been on this call now for this radio show for about 35 minutes. I've heard my big brother need more than my own name says. So I see he's a friend and brother of mine. So no problem.
We said that there are people, Liberians. You got so many good Liberians, but we're pushing them aside. We still look at the corrupt ones. People that we know, some of them came with $3. Today they are millionaires.
Millionaires.
Why Liberians?
And
come in.
I mean, no, honestly, to that point, right? And so that's the shameful part, right? You should not become rich working for government. In Liberia, the only people who are rich in this country, honestly, let's name the richest people in Liberia. I promise you, in some form or fashion, they were associated to government. And then if they were not, that means they are foreigners. That means that the Indians and Lebanese. So how can we develop a country where the richest person in your country are corrupt politicians, and yet we hail them? Yet that man's strong. Paku, you strong. You strong how? Because you're taking the Liberian people money. But again, how can we have such a poor country? Our budget is $1.2 billion, and yet we pay our senators almost as much as the United States pays their senators every 2-3 years. I mean, come man. I mean, sometimes this thing is so funny. Where if and then while I'm talking again, and I like doing it because I do radio a lot. I promise you, somebody right now on the
Oh, they're cussing you.
oh, they're costing me what? And then,
Sandra Johnson coming for you again.
oh yeah, no, they're costing me one, and then two, they say, oh, but if you had all the idea, why you didn't say it when you're in government?
You are not in the driver's seat. You would never say it. You are not in the driver's seat. That is why you want the driver's seat. But let Joe ask a question, and we'll go to the phone line. Let's hear from the people. But I wish the time.
Yeah.
Joe, ask the question, and then we take the phone line.
Good morning again. This is Edward M. Joe is my name, and I'm honored. I followed you through all the campaign, 2023 election, and you are brilliant.
Thank you.
It's just a Liberia, a different kind of country, so it is why it is for us. So,
But I hope that one day, instead of following me, sorry, before you go, I always tell people, and so many people, oh, I will follow you. I can say, yeah, but next time, please vote for me. But anyway, go ahead.
That's another topic for another day. Yeah, so my first question, I have 3 quick questions, because of lack of time, and I kind of appreciate you to make a little brief with your answer so we can be in time. The first question we talk about opposition unity. We discussed about 2029 right now. That the Moluba, well educated, have master, no PhD or whatsoever, have all the best degree in the world, well educated, in fact, one of the most qualified Liberian. You have Mr. Edison Bente Kumi, the man that worked in the corporate world before, one of the best that Liberia ever produced. You know, can you promise the Liberian people? We always have collaboration time to time, and yeah, Chromo. I mean, the recent one, the CPP 2023, we all know how it ended. Can you promise the Liberian people now, for the love of country? Because I know that you are not going to the presidency for money. Like Mr. Kumi always say, everyone's salary in the first place, you want to serve the Liberian people. Can you promise us that our ticket come out tomorrow? Kumi try to choose you, or maybe going to about okay now, okay, Mr. Moluba will be the running mate to Kumi. Will you promise the Liberian people, for the sake of country, we can see such a ticket in 2029?
Or I select him as vice president, right? Because the simple thing is, let's be honest, Liberia is a country of the young. And so what would be good, right, is that a young person being advised by older person. So I just wanted to put that there because you didn't get the option of him being my vice.
No, I say you being a father, whatever.
No, but he could also be my vice too, right? So that what I'm just saying. Because again, let's be honest, right? And I was talking to some girl before the election. She said, "Oh yeah, you're so young." I said, "Who is the best president you think from America?" They say Obama. I said, "Okay, I'm around his same age. So why is he fit to run America, but I'm not fit to run Liberia?" So I think what would truly work in this country, right, is a young person, our generation, and you are part of my generation. Yeah. Everybody on this thing is our generation will fix this country. To be frank with you, if I'm still doing this thing at 65, 70-year-old, that means I failed. Right? Our generation should be the one to transform this country. So I just say that to say, if there's any collaboration I talk about, and to be honest with you, everybody would need a collaboration.
Sure.
I'm 100% open to any collaboration, whether I'm president, vice president, or whatever the case in that collaboration. To be frank with you, I can tell people I would die, but it won't be because I'm not president of Liberia. Right? So the collaborations has to hold. If not, we'll continue to get the same recycled people, because right now UP is wish hunting CDC. CDC go back there again, they will wish on UP. And then the country will not develop. So collaborations have to hold.
Yeah, so my second question is about the situation about the Solomba polo. We also, I think you're aware that there was a Guinean soldier on our land.
They're still there.
And this government, we've been told late. We don't know the outcome so far. And then what we hear about is diplomatic whatsoever. So what can you say about that? It's in your country though.
Yeah, but you see, but this is where now, right, when I talk about wanting to be an independent man, I hope I continue to remain this way, right? This is the failure of leadership and government. You cannot tell me, right, that Guineans who are still on Liberian soil, I'm starting to honestly think that it is for Guinea. I am truly starting to think that it must be for Guinea, because how can we have our president, right, go to Guinea, meet with their leadership, come back and don't talk to the Liberian people? They say, oh, we handle it in a diplomatic way. if by right, and I also, I've done a lot of negotiations in my life. By right, if they are handling it diplomatic way, everything should go back to status quo, meaning the Guineans should go back to Guinea.
sure.
You can't
Yes.
do it diplomatically, but yet the Guineans are still on our soil with weapons. What kind of they're not diplomacy? That's somebody choking you. So what we should be talking about is that the president, our president, went to Guinea. He should have come back and addressed the people of Liberia to say these are the issues. This is why they enter, and this is when it's going to be solved. But we got nothing. So he went. He came back. No report. Our speaker, our deputy speaker, and several lawmakers went to the border, came back, they start dancing on the road. My friend is your friend. What's the report? What's the report? So the thing is, honestly, if we look at the budget, right? If we look at the budget that was spent on those people traveling there, I guarantee you, with the president's travel and all the delegation and the security and safety of him, plus all the lawmakers who went to the border, we have spent at least $100,000 just going to the border. But yet the Liberian people are sitting down with absolutely no idea or no clue what's happening. All we know is that Guineans are still on Liberian people's soil. So
Yes,
it's a complete failure.
Quickly, before we go, I mean, we're all the time quickly, and our little bit like I know, I'm say it's still looking at a sophisticated man at you, and we know the kind of President Baka appointed the election commission recently, nominated him, and for any confirmation, there was some video that were coming out. I think he was part of the Unity Party war room, and we all know he's a star-high Unity Party supporter. He may not be a Unity Party member by papers, but we all know that everybody know that Mr. Wheeler is a star-high Unity Party supporter. And you, as from the opposition, everybody was surprised that you endorsed his appointment.
But we already
It's
established.
shocking to everybody. So I don't know what the radio that kind of position to.
But we already established I'm an independent thinker, right? So just because opposition don't like him doesn't mean I'm forced to not like him. One, but two, and let's be clear. And I also did say, because honestly I know Mr. Widow. So let's be. And so the idea is, and he made some clarifications on this, but he also wrote to CDC to work in that war room. He at that time was operating as a private citizen, the thing that we don't like to hear in Liberia. He was as a private contractor. He wrote CPP, right? And again, this seems to be a very CPP or ANC leading channel because you're not bringing them in. You're not bringing in, so no problem. But he wrote UP, he wrote CDC. He wrote those three political parties. Only person who responded to him was UP. So he is not a Daha UP person. He was somebody who was working as a consultant. He was hired by UP and he defended. So, but that's what I can say. But the reason why we came out to endorse him, because the opposition were crying. But let's look at the other previous commissioners. Deviata Brown, was she not Daha CDC person? She was a Daha CDC person. But what happened? CDC lost elections under her. Let's look at the previous election. The previous commissioner. That commissioner also ran as a representative under the UP leadership. But yet, UP lost elections. So let's stop looking. Let's look at the qualifications of the person. And I looked at it from this. Mr. Widow, who is now the commissioner, had served for 16 years at NEC, and I had never heard anything about his corruption. If I heard corruption or anything of the sort, that would not be the case. He was also the commissioner in charge of CDC and several of the political parties, because when they do those commissioners, each of them are responsible for different political parties. So we cannot have it both ways, right? So my argument and endorsement of him was very simple. He is somebody who had worked 16 years in NEC. I had never heard his name in corruption. He had overseen elections in this country where the sitting president of UP, the son, lost in elections. So how can we then say, no, he's not qualified because as a private contractor, he was working for UP and getting his money. So that's why I endorsed him. And, I can be very clear about it. That's why I endorsed him.
Wow, they lost your time.
That is clear, and I just got our information. We just drove. So let's open the phone line. I hope you can come back on here. I know, yes, I support.
This once a month. Yeah,
I'm a strong supporter of Alexander Cummings with an independent mind, and I tell you, you one of the few that Liberians need to look at. Let us take Liberia to a better think that
But
our children will have a
I
better
want
life.
you to look at me. I want you to look at me too, though. You know, so
I'm looking at you.
I'm going after you right now. Like
Okay,
you are
so-
thinking about right now.
Okay.
I'm
Come
looking
on.
at you. Okay, let's
Okay.
open the phone line. We hope to get Dr. Moriba up here again. Let's open the phone line, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chief. How do you do?
We're doing good, my brother. Your name and where you calling from?
Thank you very much. And hi to God Julia and that of our general. My name is Abraham Kai, and this is official and president to General for Kazali Boulevard. So, hello.
Yeah, welcome to the program.
Yeah, so thank you this morning. You know, I've been inspired by the conversation this morning by the doctor. And I just want to make my contribution. But my question has to do with the corruption that he spoke about. You know, Joseph Boakai was being elected based on what people said to the citizen that he has, you know, integrity, in fact, you know, he's free of corruption. When Joseph Boakai told us that the squandered opportunity when he was serving as the vice president, but yet then still people did not listen to it. Now, my question comes to the $10 million worth of, you know, property being built within in Lofa, you know, in Lofa, where, you know, the president told us at the time that he was never aware, and being an integrity man for me, I expected him to have suspended the people. But later he came lied to her and then said, you know, it was the, you know, funding from the MRU, and at the end of the day, we have, you know, we did not see any suspension or any prosecution. How can you reconcile, you know, the people who as the you know, corruption-free man, you know? Yeah. So I want to hear something. Whether you know what the people said was true concerning Joseph Boakai being a free corruption man. Thank you.
Okay, my brother. Let me just read and go back to the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning. Your name?
Ali Dixon, Conchico Community Prophet.
Welcome to the program, Dixon.
No, once I listen to the show, I feel like Elizabeth Kumi because you spoke more. Elizabeth Kumi always speaking, but sometimes you know when you guys come to the public, it can't go hard. For so now that's running. I don't want to support the image of we are now got count it was feeling you know to become president. King will go hard to help Liberian, but it's running. Yeah, like what I'm supporting.
Okay, my brother.
So many questions.
Let me go back to the line again. Good morning, Lingo.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Lingo.
Yeah, let me say how's up to your studio guest in that of the fellow in the US. My name is Lincoln T. Lincoln. I come from a workplace in Mount Berkeley. Yeah, I want to acknowledge your studio guest. He spoke plentifully, very objective. And for the data, for a few issues I have, I want to respectfully disagree with him. When I did listen to him when he did mention about the legislature, that the legislature, those legislators are just sitting there, they don't have the power. About the national budget, emulate on the executive, which I want to agree with him. But those are the legislature have oversight responsibility to make it necessary changes. So if he will say, look out at yesterday, that we just pay you yesterday and do nothing, and which is in the case, I want to disagree with that. Those guys have responsibilities are very powerful. They are the people representation. So when they are over there, they should just make the executive. Where the student executive have power, they do have the power. They are three separate branches of government, but they work representatively. So I don't want to disagree with you on that. Who have the power to have it check the executive. Thank you very much.
Okay, my brother. Let me go back to the line. Good morning, Edward.
Yeah, how you doing?
We're doing great. Welcome to the program.
Thanks. Well, I have a question for Dr. Moriba. When he talked, I just imagined your late father, the former vice president, who told Summit told the truth, but he didn't listen and found himself today out. My question is, I live with disability. Besides handout, because if you look at Liberia, persons living with disability, we are underprivileged. When it comes to job, when it comes to education, it just comes to everything. If you look at the ratio, those that are employed, because I'm a teacher, I work for government, those that are employed and in the sector, and if you look at those those that are not disabled, and if you look at the ratio, it triples it cripples those who live with a disability who get jobs. But we that live with disability, if even we are giving job in the private sector, we are paid very less. When it comes to education, the few privileged who get educated, even to find a job, is very difficult. It goes to education to learn. So my two questions to you is: when you become president of this country, how do you view the sector, that spectrum individual disability? Because if you look at the cabinet, if you look the set of cabinet right now, from Joe Bucket that supported UPM or UP, but you don't see many persons there with disability. How will you treat persons living with disability when it comes to job creation, when it comes to education, and even recreation? I used to watch the game, but I no longer go there because when you go to watch 8 years and 8 years of complex, you got absolutely no free access to watching the game. So we are just like a trash and dumb site in the country. What will you do for us, Leo, besides hand out? Thank you.
Okay, my brother.
Just take one who have to get Dr. Moliba chance to answer the question so we can go into the news. So just take one more question.
Okay, General, I think I'll go to the big brother so you can answer some
questions. Doc, go ahead. You can do everything and I'll take it from there.
No, again, listen, I really want to appreciate everyone for this, just for the opportunity, just to be able to come and talk about Liberia. I really enjoy having these conversations because this is the only way I think Liberia will be able to be developed. The first thing was that they talked about boycott, right? And the $10 million project, right? And now the first question? Yeah. So, again, that to me, right, is, I mean, I don't even know what to, because it sounds so incomprehensible that a $10 million project will be going on in your own hometown and you say you don't know about it, right? And so this is why people don't like politicians. This is why people have no faith in government. If a $10 million project can be going on in your hometown, you say you don't know about it. This is why people don't like, so there's nothing to be said. 100% people should have been suspended. If, for example, in the country that has such small money, we begin a $10 million project without informing the president of this country, is two things. Either he know about it and he lying, or your staff doesn't respect you. So that means somebody should be fired, right? That's the only thing. You cannot justify somebody building a $10 million project. I'm from Gihima. So nobody will build a $10 million building in Gihima and I don't know about it. Right. So let's be clear about that. So somebody should have been suspended, or the president is not telling us exactly the full story about that. And that's one. But two, what are we doing with the MRU office in Foya? What is that doing for the children there who there's no school feeding program in Liberia? So what's that office doing for us? Absolutely nothing. So again, not only was that a waste of money, but that was a serious waste of money. Let me not put it that way. Let me go on to the next one. What was the second question? I can't even see my own. We talked about
legislators. You can answer the legislators.
Legislatures, listen, it's equal separation of powers. My point is that everything emanates. And let me be clear, because all of us living in Liberia, a representative cannot fight the president.
No, that's true.
The representative cannot fight the president. Why do we have the Capitol burnt down right now? Right? Why do we have the Capitol burnt down right now? Because representatives try to fight the president. Who will end up winning? So my whole point is that if we want transformational change, it has to start from the presidency. Yes, the lawmakers are there, but the thing is, we have confused what the lawmakers do. Right now, we have a county development fund that lawmakers get. In what country do you get?
What country?
What country are you supposed to, as a lawmaker, get county? But that is corruption. That is legal corruption.
Liberia.
Exactly. If I give a lawmaker $100,000 every year to spend on any organization or any district, any project he wants to do, guess what? When he goes back, he'll do. And who did it for y'all vote for me again. Yeah. It is corruption. That is legal corruption. So we have the illegal corruption, which is 100% going on in Liberia, and then we have the legal corruption, and something like that is legal corruption. There should not be any county development fund going to to a specific lawmaker. And that's why we can't make progress. As president of Liberia, that would be one of the first immediate things that will stop. That money should be going to the superintendent, and we should be developing our county in a holistic way. You can't just give money to somebody because they feel like their girlfriend or their wife got some kind of NGO project. So you say, okay, I will go fund them. What kind of sense does that make? Right? So do the lawmakers have power? Yes. Does it usurp or does it overcome the presidential powers? Absolutely not. And so their job should be checks and balances. But do they check and balance the president? No. Nobody can tell me the lawmakers check and balance any president in this country. I haven't seen it yet. So they need to focus on their job and start doing county development fund. The lawmakers is in the job title is in their name. Lawmakers to make the law and make sure it's implemented. That's it. Hold people accountable, but they do not.
Yes.
The next
Thank you. Just
sorry.
answer that last one. Just take anyone and answer it.
Okay,
People with disability,
the disability one. Listen, it's so I can't even imagine, right? Liberia is already hard. I can't even imagine how it is having a disability in this country. To be frank with you, because the people who have two hands, two eyes, two everything, and they're perfectly healthy, they're catching hard time. What about the people? And so this is why when I keep talking about leadership, I have to stress ethical leadership. We don't have ethical leadership in Liberia. How can you look at somebody who is blind or handicapped and then listen? We have to be able to provide technical and vocational training. And I'm so passionate about this, to be frank with you, because my mother, when she was second lady of this country, they are in charge of Group of 77. So every Saturday of my life, for almost 6-7 years, I went with my mom to Group of 77. And so the idea is, how can we find ways to empower the people of disability, just like how we need to do the same thing to empower the people of Liberia? We don't have any serious technical and vocational training in Liberia. And that's why people have become beggars. We have turned the disability community into beggars. We have turned the Liberian people into beggars, right? Because we don't focus on technical and vocational training. That is the main thing. When Germany is one of the best countries in the world for technical and vocational training. And why is that? It came from war. They sat down at the country and said, we have to focus on technical and vocational training because all of our schools have been devastated. Our entire generation have been lost. How can we make sure that we can help to build our country? Liberia never did that when we came out of war. We never did that when we came out of war. What we should be doing for the disability community is how do we empower them, right? If you don't have hands, how can you work with your eyes? How can you work with your brain? How can you work with your legs? If you are blind, how can you work with your hands? We need to be specific in how we empower the disability community, just like how we need to be very specific. And one of the specific things I always talk about is from high school. There should be nobody graduating from high school who doesn't have 2 years of technical and vocational training. That's how we empower our population. That's how we empower the private sector. So that law, which would be something I will sign the very first day as president, executive order, nobody is graduating high school again without 2 years of technical vocational training. It's the same thing we need to do for the disability community. All of them need to come in with their register, and then we find ways that they can contribute not only to their own lives, but also to the development of this country.
Thank you very much, Doc. And we hope to see you again. And we enjoy talking to you. And you have said it all. Like one of the callers said, he thought it was Alex Cummings. I know you're going to hear the name again. He thought it was Alex Cummings speaking.
Listen, let me be very frank about this, right? And again, Alex, he was he visited me at my house not too long ago, and I visited him several times. His wife has cooked for me, everything. So we have a good relationship. But
good.
The only argument I always make, right? Look at each of us for how we talk, our policies, and I'm proud to say, right? Even though you're trying to say nobody can talk like me, so let's stop saying that. Not think our Alexander Cummings, right? So let's stop online. Nobody talks like me. Nobody understands the policies. My entire life has been dedicated. The day I buried my late father, is the day I promised and committed my entire life to helping to develop this country. Since for the last 25 years, all I've done is study markets, travel around the world. I'm so proud. The last thing I would say, literally, and this is the frustrating part. A few months ago, I'm in Rwanda teaching ethical leadership to ministers from around Africa. I go to Europe and teach ministers and lawmakers and government officials about ethical leadership and delivery. But yet I'm in my own country and I cannot contribute, right? And so the whole idea has to be, right? No, it's so I get calls from different, government officials from. I've been all around Africa teaching ethical leadership, talking about leadership, right? I literally conducted a class a few months ago with the vice president of Botswana and 20 different ministers from 20 African countries about how to become a leader, how to become an ethical leader. But yet in your own country, they will say, oh man,
wow.
So these are the frustrating things. So I say that to say I understand leadership, right? I understand policies. And so, the whole idea has to be like, we as the country has to now start to make the transition to competent leadership that doesn't have to do with tribe. It doesn't have to be like the man popular. It doesn't have to be like the man being around for a long time, like getting chance. It has to be about competences and what we want to do for this country.
Look, Doc, I'm gonna have to make sure you come back here. You're gonna have to come back. We need much more time with you. We need more time with you where we can get our people more information. It was a great conversation. And
before you leave, when the last time you ever spoke to the president?
Honestly, I haven't spoken to him since after the first round. So after the first round, of course, I had a lot of conversations with President Weah at that time, and I had conversations with UP and the president at that time. But since then, I don't know. I think everybody vexed with me because I didn't endorse. So I haven't spoken to him. But,
are you saying that after the elections, the president have not called you guys to say, listen, the election is over, Dr. Moniba, thank you, and we got to work together?
But you just heard him say he didn't endorse him, so he's upset.
Listen, Julius, I want to get it good because I already different way.
Maybe I didn't get the call. Maybe I missed the call that day, but no, it hasn't been. And so, our country is too small to pick and choose with only the people who supported you. And that's, that I think is a failure that we've been doing in this country. Even when CDC got there, I remember there was a statement that said that we're not going to support our opposition to fight us. And it's the same mindset and attitude that's going on with this administration too. If you didn't support, and again, not to brag, but sometimes people can say I can maybe more, but to be frank with you, you can't name me 3 Liberians who are more qualified, competent, and character-free and corruption-free than me. You can't do it. So then my job should be, and I'm not on here looking for a job because people will say to me, no, I don't want a job. I'm not going to work in this administration. So it's just that we have to be in a position where all of the Liberian people can help to develop the country and not just people who endorsed you.
Thank you very much. And to our audience, our viewers, I want to say thank you. Follow us, share the video. Thanks again, Doc. We appreciate you and everything, and continue to fight. Don't give up on Liberia. We get there. We might not live to see it, but we will get there one day. And as bright and our light will be shining without waiting at the end of the tunnel. We want a light now. Thank you very much, Julius, Lofa, and Edward. Thanks again.
Great show, man. Great show.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Wonderful show.
Yeah.
On the UN Drive, the BTC Barry. This is Kia Radio 95.9. Don't touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it.